Welcome to the latest episode of Careers and Conversations. Today, we are going to be talking about how employees' needs are changing and how corporations are adapting. We're very lucky to have two exceptional speakers with us. We have Nicole White, who is a CIO and two-time CIO of the Year ORBIE winner. We also have Bridget Quinlan, who is the VP of IT at Life Fitness. We hope you enjoy the conversation. I'd love to take a moment to learn a little bit more about your background, Nicole. If you could share a little bit about yourself.
I am a passionate business and technology leader that has taken not the typical technology path throughout my career, but what I think having the blended skill set does is it helps me solve business problems by utilizing technology to combine with people and processes to be able to tackle those big challenges for companies.
Perfect. Thank you. And would love to hear from you, Bridget.
I have been with Life Fitness and Life Fitness's former parent company for a long time, 17 years, but in different roles. I think that it's such a rewarding experience to be able to bring technology and meaningful change to the organization. And the other great thing about IT is that we get to work with every single facet of our individual businesses. I find that so rewarding to be able to really get down into the nitty gritty of what those organizations do and how they bring value to our company as a whole and how IT can help and partner with them to do that.
Yeah, and it is a fascinating time in technology right now as well. I wanted to dive right into our conversation today. This is a very important one. We've been hearing quite a bit about the Great Resignation and the changes in the workforce and the abundance of choices that talent has these days. And I'm going to pass this question to you, Nicole. What does a successful corporate culture look like with a location agnostic workforce where you have work from home, potentially hybrid, and then talent that's coming into the office as well? What does that look like from a corporate culture standpoint?
You need to understand what you want your corporate culture to be and how are you going to align to that. So I am really big on learning the business. And I feel like every single role at the company, regardless if it's in technology or not, needs to understand the business and what the company does. And I think that is going to be a lot harder to do when people are full-time remote. So companies, to be able to retain that culture and the understanding of what the business is doing and the mission that you're on, are going to have to build training programs. And kind of like how they used to have historically, which haven't been in place as much today as they had been because of the amount of time it takes to maintain and grow the programs, is maybe like a rotational training program where you have a team dedicated to making sure that your new hires that are coming on board are getting that exposure that they would normally get in the office, and being able to walk around, sit on the floor, interact with people from different parts of the business, and ensuring that they're learning as they're going through that and they're retaining and able to piece all the puzzle pieces together to really understand what the company does. Because without that, I don't think employees are feeling that investment into the company and really understanding the mission, because it's more remote, it's more hands-off, and it's easier not to be connected.
And Bridget, I want to ask, with this work culture, trying to find success, we're also talking about different generations that are coming in or potentially exiting the workplace. We have Gen X, who is very used to the kind of work environment that Nicole just talked about. We have Gen Z, who don't understand what an office is for at some point, like they are very, very comfortable with this virtual environment. So what could a corporate culture look like where you have the different generations working together in a hybrid environment? What do you think that might be in a successful environment?
The advice I would give to those people that are just now entering the workforce, as that workforce is really transitioning, is to expect the unexpected, right? Companies are changing. For new employees that are just joining and don't have a lot of experience with the workforce yet, but have a lot of expectations, I think it's just important to kind of temper those and to be flexible and just to recognize that transitions are really, really difficult. And the company that you might be joining is going through that transition. And so it's just something to recognize and to think about as you're joining, and just try to be patient and try to be flexible as your coworkers have to be during this time.
Sure, sure. And that's absolutely fair. It is a very challenging time, which brings up the topic of mentorship. Studies have shown that having a coach or a mentor, an ally in the workplace is the best way to really find success in any role, in any career. And so in this very unpredictable, very confusing environment where you don't know if you're going to see your whole team during the week, or even part of them, or if you're going to see them online, or if you're going to see their pet in the background, how do we really build mentorship into this kind of environment? What are your guys' thoughts on that? And Bridget, I want to pass that back over to you to start.
Sure. I think that's up to leaders. I think that's another place and another way that leaders need to step up in this kind of changing environment. I think that leaders, as we're moving from a work from home for some people in your organizations to this hybrid model, that's a big change. And it's really, really important for leaders to be flexible with those employees and really kind of understand what challenges they may be facing when they're making that transition, and be empathetic to those. It's important for managers to take the time to understand each person's struggles, and they will be more equipped to help their employees through this transition if they're doing that. I think that leaders, in addition to being flexible, in addition to having to figure out how to continue to be collaborative and finding new ways to do that, being empathetic to their employees, mentorship is really, really, really important. And that's what will help people succeed, and it will help you keep your talent that you have in your workforce today. So leaders need to step up, and they need to participate in those leadership ways, in those mentoring ways. Find people that need help in the organization, that just need a sounding board, maybe need a little direction, need a little guidance, and step up and help in that way.
Wonderful. Thank you. Do you think that the work from home is absolutely impossible, or is the caveat here that if there's training, if there's investment in training, that we may potentially be able to find a place where people are able to connect even if they are remote?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be hard. I don't think companies have been built this way. And I wasn't built that way as a leader as well. That's not how I was taught. Like, I did a similar training program like this where everybody was on site, and they actually went and they sat on the floor and were able to come back to me and present to me what they learned. And then I helped them piece all that together and answer questions that they had. I do think that is available through a remote scenario. Do you think you need to teach the people on the floor how to successfully train remotely? Because the things that you're going to miss is if they're writing down notes on pads of paper, they have sticky notes all over their monitors, and that is how they're getting through their day. You miss that on a Zoom conversation and trying to retain that. So I think it's training those people to be able to successfully teach what they're doing remotely as their jobs all day. But I think if you invest the time and the energy, you should be able to handle that type of training remotely.